Hello everyone. In our previous session, when we checked about interacting with text files, we went through creating, writing, and options for appending and overwriting. However, we didn't see one option that is reading, and that's what I'm going to take you through. For that, I have a text file, and the contents are such as this. This content of the file could be in any format incoming from any other application written to the text file. So it says, please find the below details, and there's a new line, again name colon, a name, a new line, followed by some other parameter, a new line, and again followed by the city. Now let's read this file. I'll do a Control Shift C to copy the path, and the action to read a text file is in the file group of actions where we saw the write related action, and that is read text from file. It takes the parameter as a file path, which we have already copied. Let's remove the double quotes. So the parameters that we see here are a single text value, meaning the entire text that I just wrote in the text file or that I just showed to you, that will be read as a single text value. But the interesting option is the list, that is each is a list item. Let's check it out. The output variable produced is file contents. I'll run the flow and we'll observe the file contents output variable. The flow is complete. The variable is populated, and as you can see, each line of that text file which was separated by a new line has been separated into different items of a list type of variable. Now it becomes easy to extract any particular entry we need to retrieve, for example, the name. Let's quickly do that. Now you know how to extract something from a list variable. Since name is at the first location of file contents variable, in square brackets we use 1 and run the flow, and it has just extracted a particular line that we need from the flow. Now using text functions, which we are going to see in the upcoming topics, we can eliminate or get rid of name colon and extract only the first name and last name of the person. That's what we have next in our agenda, that is the list of text functions. We are going to see these many varied list of text functions. Let's begin with crop text. For that, I'll delete the text file related actions, and I'll set a variable which will hold our input text. Now this input text could be coming from any other application that is interacted by RPA. Let's make it this way. Now the point I'm trying to tell is the source of data could be coming from anywhere. It could be coming from a text file, it could be coming from an XML, a JSON, a web application using screen scraping, a desktop application, a CSV file, it could be an API, it could be absolutely anything. Right now what we are doing is we are taking the output coming from this application into a variable called as input text, and we are going to interact with the input text variable using various text functions. Let's check it out. As we saw, the first action was crop text. Let's see what exactly does it do. I'm seeing some memory issues. It retrieves a text value that occurs before, after, or between a specified flag. So there is something called as a flag, and we can extract value as seen here using various options. We can retrieve the text before that flag, after that flag, or in between two specified flags. Now right now our original input text is input text, And let's say from name colon John Doe, we want to extract everything that is after name colon. So in this case, our flag would be name colon. The output would be in cropped text variable, and is flag found is also a Boolean type of variable which will tell whether this flag was really found or not. Let's check it out. So cropped text, we can observe the output over here, or let's display because we are going to do something with the bool variable. Cropped text, and let's run the flow. That did not display anything, and the reason is we need to get the text not before this flag, because before name colon there is nothing, there is blank. We need to extract it after the specified flag. And what is the start flag? Name colon. Let's make it to a run delay of 1 so that it's a little bit fast. Did you see? It perfectly extracted John Doe after the flag name colon. And is flag found value is also true, which means we can make use of if conditions in such cases where we want to verify whether the flag that we have configured is found or not. So first operand, if is flag found is equal to, you know how to add Boolean variables, true within percent signs. If it is true, only then extract, else we'll put a message box saying it was not found. Let's run the process. There it is. Now I need to show you one thing. If I select it, you can see there is a small space before J, and that is coming from after this symbol, semicolon symbol. So I'll put it in a text file so that I can explain it to you in a better way. So the text is name colon space John Doe. So what we have given is name colon was the flag, and therefore it extracted anything after that including the space, and that's why we see a space over there. So there are multiple options to get rid of this space. One option is obviously go ahead and add a space here so that it will extract anything after the space. Now I'll remove this space and show you another option, which is to trim the text. The text to trim is the one coming from the cropped text. What this does is it has three options. Any white space characters from the beginning, end, or from the beginning and end. What are white space characters here? White space characters like space, tab, or new line. Those get removed using trim text function. The output is stored in a variable called trimmed text. And this time we will go ahead and we don't need the if condition. Disable it, and we will observe the trimmed text output variable. Trimmed text, I can see before J the cursor is not going, which means there is no space. I'll just paste it over here, go to the home, and there's no space. It's not going beyond this. So we have seen two ways of removing that space. Let's see which else actions do we have. parse text. Okay, I'll remove everything and we use the parse text. We'll keep our input text as the same. So text to parse is going to be the input text. Now text to find. What text do I need to find here? We will retrieve the same first name and last name of this person using two different actions. Now, one is we will learn about the parse test action. What it does is it is similar to instr function of VBA where it finds the position or the occurrence of a particular text. In this case, let's give a colon. So we will find the position of the colon here and start parsing at position. We'll start it from the beginning, 0. And there is only one occurrence of colon, so we will use first occurrence only. Case does not matter for a semicolon. So this gives a position. Let's run it. So the position is shown as 4 over here. Let's check it out. Starts from 0, so 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. At the fourth position, there is the colon. That is why it has shown as 4. So that was the usage of showing the parse text function. Now let's make use of the same function and use it with another function called as get subtext. So what we are going to do is the original text. What is our original text in this case? The same thing, input text. Now start index. This time, instead of the start of text, we will start it from a particular character position, and that character position we have already identified it as 4. So let's give the variable position over here. And how many number of characters do we need from this colon sign till the end? We need the end of text. We need everything till the end of text from the fourth position. That will give us in a variable called subtext. So let's run it now. This is useful function to get a particular text from inside another text. So as you can see, from the fourth position, it has given everything. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. And from the fourth position, the space, it has included both. Now what we don't want the fourth position, we want to eliminate the space also. So we will add 6 so that it will start from J. How do we do that? You know arithmetic operations now. We need to start from position plus 2 places. Let's run it. That's the subtext. I don't see any space before J, so the colon and the space both have been eliminated, and we saw other two functions of doing the same thing of extracting the values from an input text. I hope this is clear to you. Thank you. We saw get subtext, parse text, crop text, now replace text. Now we are going to see one another way of doing the same thing. I'll disable these two actions. This time we have name colon John Doe. So visualize situations where you have several inputs like name colon John Doe, name colon Mary Smith, name colon, it could be any name, Jill Doe. So using our RPA bot, you need to extract the first name and last name of the person from these input texts. So what we will do is we will simply make use of the replace text action on our input text. What is the text that we need to find? Name colon, this time we'll add a space over here. And what do we need to replace it with? We need to replace it with a blank string, and we have already seen how to add a blank string. So what will happen in our input is name colon space, everything will be replaced with a empty string and give us John Doe. That will be stored in output variable called replaced. Let's check it out in action. There it is. I highlight it and I don't see a space highlighted before J. So it has perfectly replaced the required text. So let me show you another way of using the replace text, but this time using regular expressions. For that, I'll make some minor changes in the input so that it will be clear to you. I add both of these in two separate lines. So in reality, there is one new line over here, and that, as I've shown you before, you can verify it using a hex editor like Notepad++. Yeah, if you go to view, show symbol and show all characters, tick it, it will show you all characters that are invisible like a new line. So CRLF stands for carriage return line feed, which is a new line. So after John, there is a new line. So what we are going to do is we are going to replace this new line with a star mark, asterisk mark, just to show that we have identified the new line using replace text. Now our input text will be the same. This time we will toggle on the regular expressions part. And what is the text to find? We want to find a new line. So regular expressions new line is \r\n, and that this time instead of a blank string we will replace it with a star or an asterisk mark. Let's check out the replaced value after running the flow. Perfect. If you can see, it has come in one single line, and I'll show you what our previous input was and what the current output is. So this is not clearly visible because of the symbols. Earlier our input text was John and a new line character over here and Doe. Now that new line character has been replaced by star, which means Doe will go up in the same line and add an asterisk mark over here. That's what we did. The reason for showing this was to make use of the powerful regular expression. Now I'll come back to the parse text once again and show you even that action also has something called as regular expression. So this time I will change the input to something where I can show you the powerful use of expressions, regular expressions. I add an input called as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and A, B, C, D. So it's a combination of alphabets and numbers. Now what we are going to do is from this parse text, input text to find, we toggle on regular expressions. Now we add 0 to 9 and plus, this is a regular expression for identifying only digits from 0 to 9 and start from 0th position. So let's see, it gives some position and the match both. Match will return the matching output, in this case 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes, position is 0. So did you see it correctly extracted only the digits from the given text using regular expressions. Now what we will do is we will add more digits to the right hand side. This time the match variable was a text value. Now let's run it and check what it gives as an output when there are multiple instances. Perhaps we didn't toggle it. First occurrence only, we want all occurrences. So let's toggle that and run it. There it is. This time the matches is a list type of variable. It has given matches in separate list entry items. That's the use of regular expressions. What do we have next? Split text. Okay. I'll remove all this. Input text could be multiple uses of split text is you can split a given text based on some delimiter. Let's say I give this as an input and the delimiter in this case is a comma, as you can see. So you can split it into different items and that will be a list variable again. So the delimiter types are, if you choose standard, you can choose space, tab or new line. In our case, it's a custom one. Custom delimiter is comma. We ignore the regular expression this time, and text list is the list type of variable. So it has given in separate items. Now it's easy to access these items as opposed to when it is mentioned in comma. And this could be anything, a new line, a space. You can put it as, or let's say Saturday, Sunday, Monday. So there is a new line, and let's split it this time using a standard operator, and that's a new line. It says how many times the new line will occur in the input text. On each instance, it is once. So let's keep it one and let's run it. Perfect. It has given us those entries as separate list items. Now it's easy to access and use it down our desktop flow. That was about split text. Now pad text. Let's give an input text something like 345. Now imagine a system you are automating which accepts 6 characters, irrespective of whatever the incoming text is, whether it's one single digit or double digit or three digits, it accepts 6 characters. Let me show you as an example. So what I meant was 6 characters is the acceptable digits. But what if your incoming text has only 3 characters, alphabets, digits? You can pad that text to make it to a particular length of 6. In this case, I can add any character. I'll add X over here to make it a length of 6. You can do anything over here. You can add 3 question marks to make it a length of 6. I showed you X. Then you can even add zeros to make it a length of 6. Hope you're getting the idea now. Now let's pad some text to this. I'll remove split text and make use of pad text. So text to pad is obviously our input text. So the padding should be done at the left or at the right. We need at the left. You can do it even at the right. So text for padding. Let's add X's. Okay. Let's add X's, but how many X's? You want to make the total length of this string to 6. So it will add 3 X's. We don't need to worry about how many X's. We need to just give the total length, that is 6 over here. That will come in the padded text variable. Let's check it out. Did you see? Perfect. 6 characters. These operations are useful, for example, in any system where it accepts only a particular amount of length, and without that it doesn't accept, it doesn't allow you to go further. So you need to intentionally add certain padding of characters and then submit. Let's check which other text function do we have. Text functions are actually really a playful way of interacting. It's joyful to work with text functions. You can do many things. It's really powerful. Pad text, we have seen trim text. It already removes the spaces, any white spaces, new line, tab, spaces, etc. Getting length of a text. This is not a text function, but it is used along with text related operations. That's why I wanted to show it to you. So we have already seen this, but let me show it to you since we are in the text functions. Okay, let's check out the length of a text. For that, we add some text over here. This is some text. Now, we have already seen this. So to check the length, we get it using the properties of the variable input text dot length. Dot length gets added, save, and when we run the flow, we should be able to see the length displayed of this is some text. 18 characters. Okay, that was about getting the length. Create random text. Now random texts are required wherever, if you're doing any IT or any password related operation, you need to create a random text and send the password temporarily to the user after creating a user. And so then you can mention in a text in an email saying that this is your temporary password, go ahead and change it. So for such type of situations, you can use of generate random text. I add it here. So it can give various options like whether you want capital alphabets, small alphabets, numbers, symbols. Let's make use of everything. What should be the minimum length of text? What should be the maximum length of text? And this will be stored in a variable called random text. So in our case, let's disable both of these and let's run only create random text. It has created a random text. Let's run it once again and see. This time it should generate a different text. Yeah, now you know the usage of this. So it is dependent on minimum length and maximum length. So it could be anywhere between this. You can make it fixed also. So you know the usage where it can be made of, like generating passwords or any random IDs, user IDs and so on. So case conversion and comparison. Okay, let's delete everything. Let's take a fresh set variable and again an input text. Now visualize a situation where you have something called error. It could be a log file, it could be again an API output, JSON, XML, web application, some text box in some desktop application, the word error. But this error could be in any case. For example, first case could be capital, the other case could be small, or another variation is all letters would be capital. So in this case, it's difficult to match every single case. But for that, what we do is, let's take the input text as anything random. We could make use of the if action over here. If our input text, we convert our input text to upper and check if it is equal to all uppercase, so that in any case it will match always. Let's check it out with different inputs and outputs. Display message, match found, and else. A match is not found. Match not found. Okay, right now we have taken only E capital, and no matter whatever our input is, it's going to run and show the match found, whatever case we change. Let's check it out. Yes, match found as expected. Now let's see if all the cases are small. E is small, everything else is small. Note what we are doing. We are comparing whatever input is coming to a capital case, all letters capital, and matching it with again all letters capital. So it will always match in that case too. Yeah, match found. So we saw two different inputs. Let's see something totally different. one capital, one small, again one capital, one small, and one capital. What do you think would happen? The same would happen. It would convert this to all uppercase, match it with all uppercase, and go into match found. Perfect. This is the use of doing a case comparison. And let's try something different to show a negative case. Let's say the word itself is not there. This is not a word called as error. This time it should go into match not found. That's a negative case. Just to check our else is working fine. Yeah, there it is. Match not found. Now, there are actions related to cases also, which you can explore. Check this out. Change text case. So this would be your text to convert. That is your input text. You can change it to uppercase, lowercase, title case, sentence case. Different types of cases are there. You can check that out. Okay, what do we have next? Create HTML content. Yes, again a very useful and powerful action. I'll remove everything. Type in HTML. So what this action does is it gives us an HTML like editor where we can mark our font as bold, italics, color, underline, superscript, subscript, color, yeah, indentation, hyperlinks, image, table. This is a text in bold. Let's make it bold either by pressing Ctrl B or the B icon over here. Now let's do an underline, Ctrl U or the button over here. This is in blue. Let's remove the underline and check which one is to change the font color. Blue. Yeah. Likewise, you can do many things, but I hope now you understand what you could do with this. Let's think over for a while and see where this could be used. Until then, I'll show you one feature. So once this has been written, if you use this text editor toggle, it shows you the corresponding HTML of that text. P is for paragraph, strong is for making it bold. Again, an underlined U tag starting and ending, font color for blue, and ending font color, and yeah, a break tag also. This is stored in HTML content. I go back to its original. So it gives you sort of an editor. What you see is what you get, sort of editor. So now this HTML content variable I can use in actions which requires HTML as an input. If you remember, while sending emails, there was a toggle here which says body is HTML. If I toggle it, now when I simply do a HTML content, it will send this email with the HTML, meaning bold, underline, italics, red, blue, color, etc. Clear with this action? Great. Recognize entities in a text. Let's delete this. Recognize entities in text. This is again a very, very powerful action. So what it does is here you give the input text. So let's do one thing, since if you are used to this type of explanation so far that we are doing, we will use set variable and an input text coming from any other X application, and here will be our input text. Let's say, hi John, if I am not available on call, email me at jane@email.com. So regards Jane. There is an email sent with this text, and check what happens, what we can do with this using the recognize entities in text. So obviously this is our input text. So what this does is it identifies different types of entities from a given text. It can identify a date, time, dimension, temperature, currency, number range, percentage, phone number, IP address, email address is the one that we want right now. It can identify hashtags. If you mention someone using at the rate, that is a mention. If you use hashtag, the using the hash symbol, that's the hash. Even URL, yeah. And let's use email over here, and the recognized entities is the output variable produced. Let's see what it gives. So it actually gives two columns. One is the original text it has identified, and the other one is the one that it has made sense out of. So the original text implies which text it took from the input text and what is its corresponding email value, because we have identified the email. So this particular value column should be enough for you to take it from here as a variable and process it down your desktop flow. Clear with this action? You can even add website addresses, yeah, URLs. There are many things, IP addresses. Just explore this action with by giving different input text based on the drop down options available. Very powerful action. Identify the new line character in text. I believe we have seen it using regular expression in this session itself. Let me show you using a different option. So John Doe, there is a new line over there. We used regular expression earlier. Now let's use replace, and instead of regex, okay, I'll take one variable called, I'll name this as a new line character, and I'll give an actual new line character in this. So I'm assigning a variable or creating a variable that stores a new line in it. So as we saw, person and two double quotes inside was an empty string, and when you do an enter over here, it goes into the new line. So that means there is a new line after an empty string. This becomes the new line character. Now that I will use it in the replace text. So text to parse is my input text. Text to find is, I want to find a new line and replace it with a star. I'll make use of the same star so that you'll correlate it with the other method we used for regular expression. The output variable is replaced. Let's check it out. Perfect. It has replaced the new line character. Do went from second line to the first line and prefixed a star mark. This was the second way of identifying a new line using adding a new line character itself. Okay, great. We are done with most of the vital key text actions used in any pad use case. What do we have next? We have date time related operations. Again, important piece of operations. Date times are required in many places. Let's check it out. We have used getting the current date and time, but since we are in that topic, let's check it out once again. Get current date and time. If you want only the date, you can select this option, or date and time both. System time zone or the Windows time zone. Let's say if your Windows time zone, wherever your bot is running, that is on a different time zone than the one that your local machine is, then you can use this or a custom input. Let's take a default system time zone, which is IST in my case. So the current date and time is the output variable. That will show me the date and time both. There it is, the output along with the date and time. Now we can do many things with this date and time.